This morning on The Dish, Chef Thomas Boemer. Born in Minnesota, his family moved to North Carolina when he was 5 years old. It was a change of venue that would change his life. From fried chicken to barbecued pork, he fell hard for Southern cooking and would later make it the focus of his career.
In 2012, he took over Minneapolis's award-winning Corner Table, and in 2015 opened Revival, featuring the beloved Southern recipes of his youth. Now with a second location in nearby St. Paul. Chef Thomas Boemer, welcome to The Dish.
Thank you for having me. Absolutely.
Great to have you here. Tell us about this spectacular table.
I can barely see over the pile of ribs.
We have a proper Southern feast. You know, we have our macaroni and cheese. We've got our famous butter ribs here. Real Southern cooked green beans, biscuits, and our sweet potato donuts from Corner Table.
Sweet potato donuts.
I know. Minnesota barbecue. Those words don't go together very often. You came late to barbecue, well, relatively late to barbecue. You discovered it as a child. It wasn't something your parents cooked for you growing up, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we came, lived in Lexington, North Carolina, which is this incredible barbecue center, and pillar of that style of food. And for me, being introduced to that as a young kid and having another, kid offer me, hey, have some barbecue. And I was like, barbecue what? He said,
what's that?
Barbecue.
You were also, I read, into woodworking and designed instruments. How did that skill translate into the kitchen?
Well, when you're working, woodworking is, you're working with this organic product. You're working with your hands, and it takes a lot of attention. It takes a lot of care, and it's all about process, and each thing leads into another. It allowed me to take food to a next level, and really dedicate myself to the process to see it through, whether it's a month-long process of fermentation or a 24-hour smoke. All these things, just really helped build that for me.
One of the chefs you trained with was the famous Alain Ducasse.
Yes.
Tell us about that and how influential was he in your career?
I mean, this is a chef I had looked up to, since the very beginning of my career. His food, visually just being aware of it and the philosophy behind it just spoke to me. This flawless technique, he's just such an incredible figure. Getting to work with him, it really gave me a base of, dedicating to that technique.
You worked with him in Las Vegas, but you went back to Minneapolis, ultimately taking over Corner Table. How did you make it your own?
Well, Corner Table is an already established restaurant. It's a beautiful neighborhood, Kingsfield in South Minneapolis. And, what we fell in love with, my business partner and Nick, it was the community. Yeah. All right. So when we came into this restaurant, it wasn't about, look what I can do. Right. I can cook these wonderful things. It was really about servicing this incredible community.
Chef, you have a new project.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that as I ask you to sign this dish.
Absolutely. Well, it's a very exciting project. The Keg and Case project. We're really revitalizing this whole section of St. Paul. And this is a beautiful, huge food hall style market, but it's going to combine the community and our farmers and producers, along with these incredible restaurateurs and chefs in this one place. We really want to build something special for the community and for the people there.
Like a whole experience, more than,
Absolutely.
Good for you.
Absolutely.
If you could share this delicious Southern feast with any figure, past or present, who would it be, Chef?
I'd have to probably say Jacques Pepin, right?
Oh,
he's such a legendary figure.
Great choice.
But it was my first professional cookbook, which is, his, and it was a very early version of his cookbook, which I wish I still had. And again, I love technique, I love process, and that book was just kind of, started that. So I think that was the very beginning, and to be able to, this is where it led to me.
The seed.
Well, he's been on our show, but I think that's the first vote he's received.
Yes, congratulations for trailblazing on many fronts. Chef Thomas Boemer, thanks. Great to see you. And for more on Chef Boemer and The Dish, head to our website at cbsthismorning.com.
Now here's a look at the weather for your weekend.